indicate when they arrive. Councillor
Yes,
Botha.
Madam Speaker.
Ja, Speaker. Ja, Speaker.
Councillor Suman. Councillor Wildskut.
Ek is hier, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Thijssen.
Ek is hier, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Fourie. Councillor Fourie. Thank you. I see you. Councillor Chacha.
They are on the way, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Gertse, I see you. Councillor
Yes, Madam
Kobus.
Speaker.
Councillor Kobus, I can see
She is
your
here.
name.
She's trying to lock in,
Please.
Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Floors. Councillor
She's trying to lock in,
Wildvogel,
Speaker.
apology. Sorry?
Councillor Floors is trying to lock in.
Okay. Councillor
No.
Windvogel apologizes. Councillor Marman. Councillor Marman. Councillor Floors, I see you.
I'm present, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Marman. Councillor Owen.
Financiekamer gaan zitten.
Councillor Owen.
Nondi, kan ons as aansien in die
Councillor Owen.
Financiekamer gaan
Ik
zitten?
kan die speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. Councillor
Ons ja,
Donson and
ons
Jude.
aansien.
Councillors Donson and Jude, I see you. I've already got Councillor Jude. Councillor Himan? Not here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We are 16 councillors present. We can continue. This meeting is duly constituted. We are full rate. Applications for leave of absence I've dealt with. It's Councillor Wagenaar and Councillor Windvogel. Disclosure of interest. Any councillor with an interest in the items we're going to discuss today? None. Councillors, before we start, I do apologise for the late notice of this very urgent special council meeting, but the municipality is really in trouble. We need to deal with these items today in order for us to go forward to do service delivery and to make sure that we deliver services to our community. I also would like to just inform councillors that on Wednesday morning we will have a workshop, and I would like to have the notice has been sent out as well as the agenda. Just an extra point on that. I also would like councillors or the different political parties to make sure that they nominate the members of the different portfolio committees, seeing as we have a restructuring in our MACO, and there will be new portfolio committees constituted. We're going to start with the first point. I'm just waiting for all of the documents to be delivered. Let's see how far they are. Has anybody received any of the documents? Because it will be distributed in the meeting. Has anybody anywhere received any documents yet? Not yet. I do not see an indication. Good. I will give us 10 minutes. As soon as I receive the documents, because I believe I'm the furthest point away from council support, as soon as I receive the documents, we'll come back to this meeting. So please don't leave the room. Just mute yourselves and stop your video for the time being. Thank you, councillors. Thank you, admin. Raadslede, councillors, has anybody received the items? Philip, have you handed out the items?
Madam Speaker, die raadsaal het nog nie dokumentasie nie.
Ja, dankie Raadslid Gertse. Ek het ook self nog nie die dokumentasie nie. Ons hou net 'n oombliekie aan. Ek is baie jammer oor die oponthoud. Philip sal seker nou hier wees. Dankie.
Speaker,
Raadse Thijsse,
speaker,
Raadse Thijsse, ek hoor jou.
speaker.
Raadse Thijsse, ek hoor jou.
Meneer de Jager sit hier by ons in die kantoor.
Het julle die
Nee, mense
dokumentasie,
kantoor.
het julle die dokumentasie ontvang?
Dis reg, ja.
Goed. Het almal dit al reeds ontvang? Ek het nog nie myne.
Is dat nie?
Môre speaker. Speaker.
Môre meneer die Jager.
Kan jy my sien? Jy kan maar begin speaker as jy reg is, hy kan.
Dankie. Waar is myne?
Ek nog nie connected.
Baie dankie. Ons kan voortgaan. Ek wil net kortliks kyk of ons nog steeds 'n quorum is. Ja, ek het niemand sien weggaan nie. I see Councillor Chacha, you also here. You've also joined us. Has Councillor Nondumiso Magupeni joined us? We still quorate. Thank you very much. We will continue. The first item is the item on the status report from the Executive Mayoral Committee, and I give over to our Mayor, Councillor McPherson.
Council recommendations as contained on page 1. It reads as follows: the council take note of the composition of the Executive Mayoral Committee, which are as follows: Councillor Johnson, Chairperson, Technical Service Portfolio,
Speaker. Speaker, Raadse Burskert, ons kan nie die burgemeester hoor nie hoor.
Net 'n oomblik, net 'n oomblik, net 'n oomblik. Raadse Burskert, kan jy nie hoor nie?
Nee, ons kan nie hoor as die meier praat nie.
Ja, kom sit hier.
That's all right. I will repeat. Sorry, honourable councils. It seems there was a problem with the sound. I refer to page 1, recommendations, that council take note of the composition of the Executive Mayoral Committee, which are as follows: Councillor B.M. Donson, Chairperson, Technical Services Portfolio; Councillor B. Owen, Chairperson, Corporate Services Portfolio; Councillor G. Gertse, Chairperson, Financial Services Portfolio; Councillor D. J. Fourie, Chairperson, Community Services Portfolio; Councillor, it's actually not Councillor, it's Elder Lady N.B. Nwati, Chairperson, Human Settlements Portfolio. The Executive Deputy Mayor, Councillor Jude, will also be responsible for the Directorate Strategic Services. Thank you, honourable members.
Thank you, councillors. It is for council to take note of the appointment of these people. I see Councillor Chacha's hand. Councillor Chacha.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Good morning, all colleagues. Speaker, I just want to be clarified on the issue of the composition of these executive mayoral committees. I'm made to understand that in the past, when the former deputy mayor, while serving as a chairperson for human settlements, it was a non-paying or non-full-time position. Now, what are the financial implications for that directorate, in particular, human settlements portfolio? Because I was thinking that from the background provided on this page, one was going to be saying that on our organogram, we have made provisions for the budget for these directorates. Now, this directorate that doesn't appear as an independent or a directorate on its own, this is how we're going to ensure that money is made available to ensure that the full-time councillor is remunerated accordingly. The Technical Service Directorate had a full-time councillor. That's still the case. corporate services as well and the others, but human settlements in the past did not have a full-time councillor. The incumbent then was the deputy mayor. What are the financial implications of the current composition as proposed by the mayor? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chacha. Mayor?
Thank you, honourable members. Thank you, honourable member Chacha. The fact is that the executive mayor has the prerogative to appoint any Section 80 committee and delegate. These are all delegated powers from the executive mayor to each one of his MACO members. So there's only 5 MACO members, but there's an additional responsibility which has now been attributed to Mr. Galvin Gertse as the deputy mayor. The deputy mayor isn't just going to sit and wait for me to hand over my chain to him. He's also going to be responsible for additional duties, namely that of strategic services concerning the other human settlements, housing. That is a delegated power. So there's no new department that has to be formed. She is just responsible for a delegated power which I imposed on her. So it's plain and simple. I hope you could understand that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Then we are on page 2, the appointment of the acting municipal manager. Councillor Gertse, I see your hand.
Madam Speaker, I just want to confirm that there is not additional expenditure, because why? Previously we had the strategic services that was actually budgeted for, and when the previous or the former deputy dealt with human settlements, it was not additional to her allowance or anything. Now, the strategic services currently now have been dealing, or what I will be dealing with, is also not additional. It's not an extra allowance. So we are just swapping around in terms of that allowance package that will go down to the human settlement portfolio, and I will deal with my deputy mayorship with strategic, and it won't be additional financial implication on council.
Thank you, Councillor Gertse. Councillor Chacha, that answers your question?
Speaker, I think the prerogative is, to my understanding, in the, let me call it, appointment of different chairpersons of directorates, mostly talk about candidates that you want to appoint to serve onto those directorates. Now, I was hoping that the CFO will also try to provide clarity on this matter together with the Directorate of Corporate Services, because one must also remember we spent money around 1.4 to 5 million for the work study that has been conducted, and there was a report made available. And that report is not yet in front of council for workshop, because this kind of composition needs to speak directly to the current organogram, and needs to also speak to that has been recommended by the service provider that has conducted the work study program. Now I want someone that can really make us understand as council, because one must also remember, when we approved the budget in the IDP, we didn't speak at length about the new organogram, because those documents goes together. We were silent as the council. We didn't say much around the organogram. Those was the cost containment policy. It even advises us on how best can we ensure that we do not use money unnecessarily, but rather resort to austerity measures. This exercise needs to be part of that, because you cannot be saving divorce papers. These documents that are different needs to be aligned. Now, the composition executive mayor, to my understanding, it really does not make sense, because it does not even make mention of the current organogram, and it also does not even make mention of the work study that was conducted by the service provider. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Chacha. It's simply for council to take note. Councillor Gertse? Your hand is up. Councillor Jude, can we continue to the next point?
Speaker, as raadslid Donson, ja speaker, die punt is net vir kennisname. Die bevoegdheid is by die burgemeester om 'n komitee saam te stel. Die straks is duidelik dat die getal micro-raadslede van die raad nie meer as 20% is en ons is binne in daai raamwerk. Ons is nie meer as wat die wet voorskryf is, so ek neem kennis van wat ons neem kennis van die item, speaker.
Dankie, raadslid Donson. Raadslid Jude.
Madam Speaker, ja, dis ek dink hier is 'n item waarvoor ons in 'n vote moet gaan nie. Ons bevestig dit wat meneer Donson sê en ons voel dat ons oorgaan na die volgende item op die agenda.
Baie dankie. Die volgende item is the appointment of an acting municipal manager. We have to review and amend our council resolution 63.1/05/17, and we have to request council to appoint an acting municipal manager for a period of 3 months pending the disciplinary process with the municipal manager. There is a recommendation on page 2, at the bottom of page 2. Councillor Jude, I see your hand.
Madam Chair, yes, ek dink dit is uiters belangrik dat ons vandag voortgaan met hierdie proses. Ons kan nie meer funksioneer sonder daar nie sekerheid is in terme van die administratiewe hoof en administratiewe uitvoerende gesag van hierdie munisipaliteit. Ek wil voorstel en miskien net in die recommendation verandering maak met betrekking tot en as ek kom lees, that council review and amend the resolution 6310 of 517 and approve the appointment of Mr. JP de Jager with immediate effect, wil ek insit, as acting municipal manager for the period of 3 months starting from then today, the 7th August 2020. I propose.
Thank you, Councillor Jude, for your proposal. Councillor Tjatja.
Speaker and members of the council, I want to be clarified on this matter. The financial implications for the appointment of the acting municipal manager, while we do have an appointed MM. Now, as the town, if you're going to spend more money, we should not suffer based on the decisions that are ill or decisions that are wrong that we have taken as council. The regulation on the appointment of senior managers that are which is the MM and the other directors, it states the following: when allegations are being leveled to an individual, written submissions needs to be done by that particular person. And then after the written submissions have been made available to council will need to reconvene and take a decision whether to suspend or not to suspend after we have interrogated the submissions, the reasons. That process has been flawed. We didn't do things the right way as council. It is because we were in a hurry to achieve misguided agendas. Now you want to appoint someone to act in a position, that person qualifies for an acting allowance. On the other side, the person is at home receiving full salary. Now, who's going to be accountable for that wastage that we are embarking on as the municipality? The thing that needs to be done, our component that deals with legal services needs to intervene on this matter and advise council, even if we decide to take a caucus break, to request that component to quickly draft, to draft something that is going to guide us on what informed decision to take today. I personally, I do not think that it is advisable of us as council to appoint an acting MM while we have an acting MM that is staying at home with full salary. It is really unacceptable. That is my personal view. Council, I need to be clarified by the CFO based on financial implications need to be clarified by the Corporate Service Directorate on the process on its own, whether it is legal, whether it's constitutional, or whether it is a just process, and also want to be clarified by the component that deals with legal services on the constitutionality of this matter. Thank you.
Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Chacha. Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. Honourable members, I hear Councillor Chacha says that it's misguided. I think, sir, that you are misguided in this whole issue. You know very well that we cannot appoint again the previous Mr. Smith in that position because he already been in that position up to the 25th for 6 months. So that left us now with a vacuum where we did not have anybody else that could fill that position. Secondly, let me just remind you that there was a decision taken by this council that the process of disciplinary action should be taken immediately with the previous municipal manager, Mr. Paulsen. That process has already started. He's been given 7 days in which to react. And if he doesn't react in that 7 days, we are given another additional 7 days in which council then convenes to decide to enforce that temporary suspension of his or precautionary suspension, and then we will suspend him. But in the meantime, he has submitted a form where he's had family problems concerning the virus and that he's taken ill. Therefore, we still have that vacuum in any case, and we are left with no choice other than to appoint an acting accounting officer for this municipality. Otherwise, we cannot proceed. And therefore, we need that, and we are compelled now to appoint our CFO in this position, and that is what it reads. It is our current CFO that will be appointed in that position. So we're not bringing in somebody from the outside. We're using somebody from our own to act in that position for 3 months. If there happens to any follow through on the whole appointment of the legal action that has been taken, the disciplinary process of Mr. Paulsen has ended, whatever the mandate is that we are supposed to execute, then we will do that. But at this stage, we can't preempt that, and therefore we leave it as such. And what we're asking now, honourable members, is we cannot govern without an acting municipal manager. We have to appoint somebody. Therefore, we've taken the CFO and we've requested him to take up that position. At least he knows what's going on, and to have that appointment. I hope all councillors will assist us in this regard and make sure that we can conclude this business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I see the hand of Councillor Jude. I take it it's not Councillor Jude because you could only speak on the item once. I take it that it is
But my
Councillor
hand was
Johnson
up
that
before
wants
you
to say
opened.
something.
No speaker.
Councillor
Speaker.
Johnson.
So,
Councillor Johnson. I will take people that put up their hand in order of my screen. When you put your hand up first, your hand comes up first. Councillor Johnson.
Speaker, ek wil die voorstel van Mr. Gertse kondier, dat is belangrijk dat ons in die municipaliteit stabiliteit kry. Ons sit vir die afgelope paar weke maande met onstabiliteit. Al ons senior managers, as op die oomblik siek, al is by die huis op met COVID en allerlei type van goeders. So dis belangrijk dat die municipaliteit in rigting gaan dat ons acting municipal bestuurder so gauw as moontlik kry. So ek wil die voorstel van Mr. Gertse kondier.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. I have a proposal and I have a seconder. The proposal
Speaker.
was made by Councillor Jude and the seconder is
Speaker.
Councillor Johnson. Councillor Magupeni.
before that proposal, I don't have a problem with that. But then mine is, according to the agenda that is in front of me on page number 2, where we talk about the background and the discussions. We as a council, took a decision to say that we were given Mr. Paulsen 7 days to respond. I think when we talk about having an acting municipal manager, it's something that we as an ANC have been talking about since the 26th. But now the problem is we have given him the 7 days. Did he respond? And then because I think mine wants to be, why are we giving this person 3 months what if Mr. Paulson comes back before that 3 months? Or is there something that you know that we don't know as an opposition party, that you are giving this person to act for 3 months because you know it that the Mr. Paulson is not going to come back?
Thank you. I'm going to give the mayor a chance. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Honourable Councillor Makopeni. Let me just elaborate. We assume normally that the process for the disciplinary process might take 2, maybe 3 months, but it's always applicable when you appoint somebody on an acting position, that you act once the problem has been resolved, either side, then that would revert back automatically to the position. But you cannot appoint somebody now with less than 3 months and expect the person, if we appoint somebody to act in a month or 2 months, and then we have to come back every time extended. So we had an understanding with the acting municipal manager who will be taking up that position, thus the CFO, that he understands the complexity surrounding this whole process, so that if it does turn out that Mr. Paulson comes back for one or other reason, then surely we will have the situation where we will have to take him back and then we'll revert back to CFO position. I hope that is understood. There's nothing sinister about it. It's just that we need somebody to be the accounting officer of this municipality as soon as possible. Thank you, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillor Tjatja, I see your hand. You can't debate on this point anymore. You've already made your point. Do you want to make a counter proposal? Councillor Tjatja?
Speaker, I am not in support of this item, these recommendations. Reason being, I have made an observation that on the second item that we are going to be dealing with, there's going to be an irregular financial expenditure or a wasteful financial expenditure on the appointment of a person for 3 consecutive months. We are wasting money because that person is going to be coming from outside. Now, on this matter, I'm going to advise the current executive mayor to look on the regulation that I was making reference to, so that he can have a better understanding of what that policy or that regulation seeks to clarify or seeks to advise council on how to deal with these matters. We have really missed. No, I'm still on the floor, Speaker. I am still on the floor.
Tjatja, you've already debated.
I'm still on the floor,
going to mute you now because you've already debated.
You are a bully, that's why. Go ahead.
We take note of your point. Councillor Kobus, I see your hand. No debate, please. I have a proposal and I have a seconder. Councillor Kobus. Councillor Kobus?
Speaker, nee, dis ek want my hoese mens wil nie werk nie.
Councillor Fleurs?
Ja, Speaker, ek wil net bitter graag weet, dinsdag met die verkiesing, nee, het ons 'n acting MM gehad.
Councillor Fleurs, op daai stadium het ons nie 'n acting MM gehad nie. Baie dankie, ons gaan voort. I have a proposal, I have a second. I do not have a counter proposal. Thank you very much. We will continue. Mr. De Jager will be appointed as acting municipal manager with immediate effect for 3 months starting on the 7th of August 2020. We are now on the third item, which is on page 3, the appointment of managers directly accountable to municipal managers. You will see there is that we have to approve acting managers directly accountable to the municipal manager. Councillor Kobus.
Nee, Speaker, my hand was al nee.
Thank you, Councillor Kobus. Councillor Donson.
Speaker, ik wil voorstellen dat je aanbevelings aanvaardt, aanbeveling 1, 2 en 3.
Absoluut. Ik weet net voor die speaker, ik secundeer zo.
Councillor Donson, it's page 4, recommendation 1, 2 and 3. You propose that we accept that, and it's seconded by Councillor Wilson. Do I have any counter proposals? Councillor Chapter?
Speaker,
Yes,
I want
Councillor
to
Chapter.
advise that don't be too much in a hurry to do things your way. You end up forgetting the rules of order. Because we were against it, it was not recorded as such. I want to say this recommendation that on number 4 and the previous recommendation, the appointment of the acting municipal manager. We as the ANC, we are totally against it, and we are not going to be held financially accountable for the wrong decisions that we are making as in this council. I want that to be recorded. As the ANC, we are totally in disagreement with this unjust and unlawful process that we are undertaking as this council.
Thank you very much, Councillor Chacha. It will be recorded as such in the minutes. Thank you very much. Councillor Magupeni? Thank you very much. The objection of the ANC is noted and it will be minuted. I have a proposal. I have a seconder. I don't have a counter proposal. Thank you very much, councillors. This item is approved. Councillor Nondumiso, Councillor Magupeni, this item has been approved. Your objection has been noted and this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you very much, councillors.
The meeting is adjourned.